begin with lesson 56, angles and circles. This is a really short lesson and it's really easy. There's a second part to this lesson called proofs, but we're not going to do that. We'll cover that in geometry. This lesson is just a couple of review things just to help you know your terminology. Like this circle right here. You can see this is a central angle. That means it starts from the center point and goes out into the circle. The central angle is 70, so we know that the arc is 70 as well. This arc BC right here is called a minor arc because it's the smaller arc of a circle. Down here we have a bigger arc going this direction. This is still our 70. This central angle, the exterior part of this angle is 290 degrees, so this intersected arc is 290 degrees. And this bigger arc is called a major arc, and you need to use 3 letters to identify that something's a major arc. So we would label this major arc BXC with the third point in the middle just to make sure you're going, it wouldn't just be BC, you wouldn't know which one they're talking about. And a couple more things. If a line cuts through a circle at any point, it's called 2 points, it's called a secant. If it goes from one point in a circle to the other point without going the whole way through, just stopping, it's called a chord. And if it touches, the line touches the circle at one point, which would be perpendicular to the line coming out of the center circle, this line is called a tangent. So just a couple definitions. This is the main thing we're going to be working with today. If 2 lines intersect inside a circle, then the measure of the angles formed equals half the sum of the intersected arcs. That's really a lot easier than it sounds. And the second part to this is if 2 lines intersect outside the circle, the measure of the angle formed equals half the difference of the measure of the intersected arcs. So 2 simple examples will do these problems. They're very easy. So example 1, we have a circle with 2 chords that intersect. And the definition says if 2 lines intersect inside the circle, it can be chords or it can be secants that go the whole way through. 2 lines intersect inside a circle, the measure of the angles formed equals 1/2 the sum of the intercepted arcs. So these are the angles formed right here. What they equal, we would say x equals the sum of the intercepted arcs, and then it's 1/2 of the sums of the intersected arcs. So that would just be 120 divided by 2, so we would know that x would equal 60 degrees. So you just add up these 2 intersected arcs and divide by 2. Now the second part, it says if the lines intersect outside the circle, which is down here in part B of example 1, we have 2 lines that are intersecting outside of the circle. So if that's the case, it says the measure of the angle formed equals 1/2 the difference. So we would just say our angle formed is x equals 80 minus 40 divided by 2. So it's the difference, and then we divide by 2, which would be 1/2. So we get 40 over 2, which would be 20 degrees. So x is 20 degrees. Let's look at our final example. Example 2. This one is a tangent line because it hits it at one point, and a secant line. They're intersecting outside of the circle, so we use the difference part of this rule. So we would have the angle x equals the difference of the intersected arcs. So it's 120 minus 60 divided by 2, which would be 60 divided by 2, which would be 30 degrees. See how easy these are? Very easy. Last one. This one looks a little bit different because they're both tangent lines, but as long as they intersect outside of the circle, you do the same thing. So we just take the difference of the intersected arcs, which would be 100 and 260. So we take 260 minus 100 divided by 2. That would equal our x. So that would be 160 divided by 2. So x would equal 80 degrees. So that's all for lesson 56.